Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend previewing this weekend's Premier League and Championship action. Let's get straight into it with Aston Villa taking on Arsenal, and of course this is a huge game for Arsenal. They need to get back on track after the loss to Man City, just disappointing results in general, but Aston Villa, that'll be no easy task then, because obviously they have improved recently, but yeah, I just feel like Arsenal really do need to get back on track. Villa have lost the last two, even despite signs of improvement under Emery, so I'm going to say 2-0 to Arsenal. Moving on into Brentford as they take on Palace at Brentford Community Stadium, and yeah, Brentford coming into this one in a really good run of form. Obviously, taking up a point at the Emirates. Not many teams have done that this season. So yeah, that was really impressive. And yeah, Palace, they're not in the best of form at the moment. Winless in a while. Haven't picked up a win this year. So yeah, they need to pick up some points soon. But I can see the Bees doing it here at home. They're so impressive at the moment. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on into Brighton as they take on Fulham at the Amex, and yeah, Brighton coming into this one, obviously in a pretty good run of form at the moment. Yeah, I mean, like, they're unbeaten this year against the Fulham side though, who have won the last two in all competitions. Obviously both of these teams having great seasons and possibly could even be aiming for Europe. Who'd have thought that at the start of the season? But yeah, with home advantage, I'm going to say Brighton will just nick this one. I'm going to say 2-1. Moving on then to Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea take on Southampton, and Chelsea coming into this one, obviously off the back of that loss to Dortmund, but coming into this one in a better state than Southampton, you would have thought, who now have the interim manager in charge. Seems like he might be in charge for the rest of the season. I've talked to Jesse Marsh going down. Obviously, Nathan Jones sacked after that disastrous Wolves performance where they lost to 10 men despite winning. And yeah, surely even Chelsea can win this. I'm going to say 3-0 to them. Moving on then to Everton as they take on Leeds at Goodison Park, and Everton coming into this one, off the back of the 2-0 loss to Liverpool, but still riding the high of Sean Dyche's appointment. That was always going to be a tough one. Liverpool bouncing back, but yeah, Leeds not in great form at the moment either, losing to Manchester United last time. They still got an interim manager, so yeah, Everton being at home. Obviously, this is a huge game down at the bottom. So, yeah, it's a massive opportunity for Everton to pick up the win. I think they will do. I think it'll be close, but I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on into Forest as they take on Manchester City at the City ground. And yeah, Forest coming into this one, not in the best of form, to be honest. Did pick up the win over Leeds, but around that, their form hasn't been great. Obviously did have a great run, but yeah, kind of tailed off a bit. But Man City coming to this one, 4 wins in the last 5, sitting top of the league. Who'd have thought they got to the summit so quickly, after being so far behind Arsenal for a lot of the time recently. So yeah, they're on a high at the moment. I can see them picking up a win here quite easily. Moving on into Wolves as they take on Bournemouth at Molineux. And Wolves, like I mentioned earlier, obviously like a remarkable turnaround at Southampton with 10 men. They'll be on a massive high after that. Taking on a Bournemouth side that at the moment is really struggling. And yeah, unfortunately for them, it does seem like they are heading back down. Gary O'Neill had a good start, but yeah, that's kind of tailed off, I think it's fair to say. And Wolves are really starting to show signs of improvement now under Julian Lopetegui. I can see this being a comfortable win for Wolves. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on into Newcastle as they take on Liverpool at St James's Park. And Newcastle coming into this one, they've drawn the last 2, but they still are unbeaten in the league for a long while. So yeah, they'll be coming to this one confidence. Liverpool, they're bouncing back after that disappointing defeat at Wolves with a win over Everton. So yeah, it just shows that there are still signs of the old Liverpool there. But I think Newcastle at home, I can see them doing this, to be honest. I just think they're a better side than Liverpool at the moment. 1-0. Moving on into Super Sunday as it's known, and yeah, 2 games. Manchester United hosting Leicester at Old Trafford, and yeah, Manchester United 2-2 draw with Barcelona. That was a really impressive performance. In the league in general, they've just been impressive, haven't they? 2-0 win against Manchester United. They're only 5 points off the top, same amount of games played. Is it possible? I would say so, but who knows? I'm going to say Manchester United, though, will be fancying the chances there against the Leicester side. Their improvement still not in the best thing. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on then to Tottenham as they take on West Ham at White Hart Lane. And yeah, Tottenham, they've lost the last 2 now in all competitions. Obviously, losing to Leicester, that was a really bad defeat last week. And yeah, it just came off the back of that Man City win. So yeah, it just shows you never know what you can expect with Tottenham, really. But West Ham really starting to improve now, unbeaten in 4 in all competitions. So yeah, they'll definitely be starting to gain some momentum. But still a tough place to visit Tottenham, and I'm going to say Tottenham will pick up the win here. I'm going to say 2-0. Moving on into the Championship, and the Friday night action is Cardiff taking on Reading at the Cardiff City Stadium. And yeah, this is a big game for Cardiff. Obviously, picked up their first win under Sabrina Mucci on Tuesday, and that's a massive win. They need to continue to win, so they'll get away from the relegation zone. Reading now also picked up a win after a bit of a barren run last month. So yeah, it's a game that I think both teams really will fancy taking 3 points from. And yeah, I'm going to say this will be a draw, 1-1 for me. Moving on into the Den, where Millwall take on Sheffield United. And yeah, Millwall coming into this one, obviously off the back of a bit of a disappointing result last time out against Coventry, but on the whole still in really good form and still very much in contention for a playoff spot with games in hand especially, and all of that. But Sheffield United losing to Middlesbrough last time out, maybe the gap's closing, but they should still get the spot. But yeah, maybe pressure's going on, and I'm going to predict them to bounce back here and get a 2-0 one. Moving on then to Blackpool as they host Stoke in a big game down at the foot of the Championship. And yeah, Blackpool coming into this one, obviously off the back of that disappointing result at Swansea last time out. And Stoke, though, 3-0 win over Huddersfield. And yeah, they've only lost 1 of the last 5 in all comps. And yeah, definitely starting to improve now. Yeah, it wasn't a great run of form, but yeah, they definitely are starting to improve now, get away from relegation trouble. But I'm going to say a draw here. Blackpool will be targeting this game at home. Moving on into another big game in the Championship, and Neil Warnock's first game back in charge of Huddersfield after like 25 years or something ridiculous. And yeah, he's taking on Birmingham. Huddersfield forwards awful, really poor defeat at Stoke last time out. But Birmingham, yeah, they did win 2 of the 2 games on the trot, but obviously had a really disappointing result against Cardiff. And I think that will give Neil Warnock and his men some confidence coming into this one. New manager bounce, the Warnock effect. I'm going to say Huddersfield will pick up the 1-0 win here. Moving on then to the K-Com next, where Hull will take on Preston. And yeah, another really interesting game. Hull coming into this one, inconsistent form. I'd say 2 wins, 2 losses and a draw in the last 5. Just 1 point from the last 2 though, so they'll be looking to improve on that. But Preston coming into this one, not in the greatest run of form, but did pick up a surprise point against Luton, especially considering the circumstances. And yeah, a few losses, so they need to find nice form again. But I'm going to say Hull at home will have enough to pick up the win. Moving on then to Luton as they take on Burnley at Kenilworth Road, and Luton coming into this one, like I said, with Preston going down to 10 men, that really was a match they should have won. I think they'll be frustrated, really, that they didn't. Taking on a Burnley side though, draw against Watford, it was inevitable they were going to get a draw in the end, despite training for so long. But maybe it can be a bit of a blip. At the end of the day, they can't just go winning and winning and winning. So I'm going to say Luton will take a point out of this game, 1-1 for me. Moving on into Middlesbrough as they take on QPR at the Riverside, and Middlesbrough, like I say, will be buoyed by that win at Bramall Lane, maybe giving them a sniff of hope of automatic promotion with a great job that Michael Carrick's doing there. Taking on a QPR side, let's face it, they're bang out form at the moment. Neil Critchley, I thought he'd be a really good appointment there, but unfortunately for them, it just hasn't worked out for them. Middlesbrough at home, with how they're playing at the moment, I think really will have a sense of feeling of optimism around this game. They'll pick up 3 points, so I'm going to say 1-0 to Borough. Moving on then to Rotherham as they take on Coventry at the New York Stadium, and Rotherham coming into this one, losing to Reading. That'd be such a disappointing result because they had gone unbeaten in 4 before that. It's a game which I think they felt like they maybe should have got something out of. Take on a Coventry side whose form is inconsistent at the moment, but have picked up 4 points from the last 2. Starting to pick up a bit after a bit of a barren spell after the World Cup break. So yeah, it's a bit of a tough one to predict this one. I'm going to say it'll be a draw, but it's one that you could feel could go either way. Moving on into Sunderland as they take on Bristol City at the Stadium of Light. And yes, Sunderland coming into this one off the back of a really good run. They've won the last few, in the playoff spot, having a great season. Bristol City, on a long unbeaten run now, that stretches back quite a while since into Boxing Day, I think. That's a really impressive run for them. But taking on Sunderland side, it's not going to be easy, and I'm going to predict Sunderland will pick up another win here. I'm going to say 2-1. Moving on into Wigan as they take on Norwich at the DW. And yeah, Wigan coming into this one, a bit of an uptake on form, it has to say, since Cornwall's taking charge. 5 points from the last 3, and yeah, it's really taken them from kind of stuck towards the bottom of the table to really in the relegation fight and having a good chance of staying up. They're taking on the Norwich side, who picked up a big win against Hull after some games before that not really going their way. So yeah, I'm going to say Norwich win here, but one that Wigan maybe could surprise a few. Moving on then to Blackburn as they take on Swansea at Ewood Park. And yeah, Blackburn coming into this one, they're draw specialists at the moment, and yeah, they need to start picking up wins really if they want to stay in the playoff race, even though they are unbeaten in a while. But yeah, coming into this one, though, Swansea picking up that win over Blackpool last time out, that was a big win for them, because before that they have been grateful. But I think this is a game that Blackburn will definitely be targeting, and I'm going to say they will pick up a crucial win to kind of fire them back into the promotion race. Moving on into Watford as they take on West Brom in the 8 o'clock game of the Championship. And yeah, Watford coming into this one, draw specialist, kind of like Blackburn really, but yeah, they are winless in 6, and that needs to change if they want to get into playoff places. Pressure will be growing on Slaven Bilic. We know what the Potso family are like, and yeah, West Brom coming into this one, in a similar kind of run. They kind of dropped off a bit, and that needs to pick up, but I'm going to say Watford will pick up the win here. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Go to like, share, subscribe, it's not going to follow the show for daily football news, subscribe to the channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.